Welcome to Green is Good, raising awareness of each individual's impact on the environment and helping to create a more beautiful and sustainable world. Now, here's John Shigarian, Chairman and CEO of Electronic Recyclers International, and Mike Brady.
Welcome to Green is Good. Mike, it's so great to be here in studio with you today.
Well, John, I can't believe another week has come and gone. Where does the time go these days?
I don't know, but thanks to your great suggestion, I have my laptop with me today, and I'm able to now look at our great guests while online and see their websites and enjoy the whole process with you.
Well, excellent, because I know that's a big part of the show. We always invite people to, if they're listening and they've got their iPads or their laptops with them or their smartphones, to just go ahead and check out. Some of these sites are just amazing.
They are. And speaking of laptops and electronics, Mike, today is a big day because the first half of the show, we have Ismail Oyekan on with us talking about the big and growing electronic waste recycling crisis and industry. So everyone should listen to this commercial and then come on back to Green is Good.
If a little green is good, more is even better. Now, back to Green is Good with John Shigarian and Mike Brady.
Welcome back to Green is Good, and we're so honored and excited to have our friend Ismail Oyekan on with us today, green entrepreneur and now media publisher and conference organizer. Ismail, welcome back to Green is Good.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, John. Thank you for having me, guys. I'm excited to be back on your show. This is a great day. It's always nice to have a discussion about sustainability and the green movement with you guys.
Well, you're truly leading the whole sustainability and green movement revolution, and you're doing great things since we first met you years ago and how you evolved. Share a little bit of your story, Ismail, how you even got interested in electronic waste and what your participation was with the electronic waste industry, and then how you evolved into a conference organizer and now into a media publisher with your great electronic waste journal.
Thank you, John. It's all been a giant quest for knowledge, trying to find out what's the best way that we can handle this tsunami of e-waste that we generate as a society, collectively as individuals and even corporations. And it's really led me to a quest where I've made a lot of great friends with people like yourself and other stakeholders in the industry. But truthfully, it all started out when I used to, with a job I had selling cell phone service with Nextel Communications, and I would sell service to new clients, and they would ask me to take their old phones, and I was stuck with these things, and I did a lot of research to try to find out what the value was, and I've been amazed ever since at the amount of opportunity and at the same time the crisis with e-waste. And there's an industry after that right now. It's called the e-waste management industry, and we've evolved into creating a network and a learning platform with the conference, and now we just started the magazine to continue that part, to continue growing that platform so people can learn just like I want to about this industry.
Got it. And so you started the conference platform. This is your third year coming up. Before we get to that, though, you recently, in March, released your first edition of your electronic waste journal, and there's going to be many more. How did you start that? Why did you start now that new media platform also?
Yeah, that's a good choice. That's a good question. We're going on our third year of the conference, and the conference has enjoyed tremendous success. We've had several thousand people now attend the conference. At least by the time we have the third one, it will be several thousand people. We've had a lot of people attend the conference that left with positive feedback and felt that they increased their network and also learned more about e-waste management. The feedback is amazing. People tell us they sold equipment at the conference, they met such and such at the conference, and that's why we do it. But the truth is a lot of people can't physically make the conference or any event. So I felt that it was important to create a resource that will connect the recyclers with the people that are looking for recyclers, and at the same time teach people about the success stories and the how not to do it scenarios in this industry, and create a platform where everyone in the industry could be involved in terms of a marketing resource for their businesses and creating profiles of people in the industry so people could see how the best electronic recyclers do business.
And who's particularly your readers here? Is it just recyclers, or is it all the stakeholders in the electronic waste recycling industry?
like you said, the electronic waste recycling industry, because it really is an industry, and the recyclers are just one component of this industry. This industry includes also resellers of electronics, manufacturers of electronics, policymakers. There are 25 states now that have some type of e-waste legislator, Utah being the latest one. Here in California, it's a very, very important discussion because we have about 700 companies that are funded by the SB20, SB50 program, which pretty much funds the electronic recycling industry here in California. So the truth is, it's an industry that employs thousands of people. Your company, Electronic Recyclers Industry, is one of the leaders. You guys have about 400 people on your payroll. I mean, those are green jobs being created, and it's an industry that's showing growth, and it's very dynamic, and I'm excited to be involved with it.
Got it. And for those who haven't seen Ismail's great electronic waste journal, the hard copy, which is just wonderfully printed and looks really good, you could go online and look it up at ewastejournal.com, ewastejournal.com. So when's the next issue coming out?
Well, we're working on the next issue. Our goal is to try to get about 10 issues out a year. We're now obviously putting together the content for the next issue. We're trying to make it a collaborative effort. So we ask that if anyone wants to speak to the industry, please reach out to us, and we'll consider publishing your content or your perspectives. We're looking for feedback on people's thoughts and ideas. We want to share that with the industry. And it's exciting, John, because we have people that read the magazine from all over the world because we distribute it via a digital format.
Right.
So people from Brazil to countries in Europe and Africa are giving us feedback and saying that they're happy that we did the publication. So it gives us motivation to do a better job.
That's awesome. Great for you, and great for our industry. Actually, there's a new voice. What are Also, what are some of how big is the next journal going to be? I know this one was about 64 or so pages. How big is the next? What do you expect in size? Are you getting more content from more stakeholders and more advertising now?
Yeah, we're definitely getting. Now that we've been able to show people the first issue, people are really excited about the product, and people are. We've been able to attract more advertisers, and we have better content. Let me say also more content, but it's a healthy balance between getting the right content in there. This is a very, very specific niche within the recycling industry as a whole. So it's also very important to cover news and events that occur in the industry, and they're always new developments. So getting content has really not been a problem. But we really want it to be a collaborative voice and an effort of the industry. So we're asking other people who have a perspective or an idea or a product that they want to showcase to the industry to utilize the journal as a platform for that.
Got it. And so let's switch now from the journal, which is just wonderful and great job. What now is what's ahead for the e-waste industry? What are some of the challenges and also some of the great opportunities that you see? And because you've got your ear to the ground now, you know so many of the recyclers, know so many of the stakeholders and the smelters around the world. What's going on?
Yeah, well, you're right. I mean, the reality is there are a lot of opportunities, and the key thing right now is the certification issue. Electronic recyclers are to adhere to two standards. One is the e-Steward standard developed by the Basel Action Network, and you can learn more about that by looking up ban.org. Or there's also the R2 standard that is a collaborative effort between the EPA and some other stakeholders, and the administrative body that monitors or houses that standard is r2solutions.org. So, I mean, these standards are great developments for the industry because they help weed out, the people that are doing good jobs in terms of adhering to the best environmental standards and worker safety issues. And so it's a great development. It shows growth in the industry. The commodities are also increasing in value. I mean, gold is relatively trading at all-time highs, and people need to know who to sell their commodities. I mean, we are in an urban mining industry, so you have to know your commodities. You have to know, what kind of yield you should be getting from the materials that you work so hard to collect as an electronic recycler. The manufacturers need to learn from the recyclers and learn what the recyclers are doing with the materials, because ultimately the extended producer responsibility lies with them. So there are a lot of people and a lot of stakeholders that make the e-waste management issue a very interesting one. We have a lot of topics we're discussing at the conference. The agenda is on the website, electronicrecyclingexpo.com. People can learn a ton of stuff about this industry and the lucrative opportunities and the challenges and so much more at the conference.
Before we get into the conference, which I definitely want to cover, talk about size. People always say, Ishmael, John, how big is this industry? Is it really going to grow and things of that such? How big, what do the numbers look like that you've recently looked at?
Well, the value of the commodities that are in this electronic waste are forecasted to be well over $14 billion by 2014, and that's a research group that said that, not me.
Wow.
And secondly, there are over 3,000 companies in this industry, and that's just in North America alone. There are 550 nonprofits that have some type of e-recycling facility. Nonprofit organizations like Goodwill earn millions and millions of dollars collecting and processing e-waste. It's a very, very huge industry, and when you think about the fact that it also includes the manufacturers of the e-waste, because now they have an equity in how the e-waste is handled at its end of life, it makes it a much larger industry to look at. And, no one has put a dollar value on it, but in terms of the amount of green jobs that are being created and the growth opportunities, I mean, your company just received $10 million. Congratulations, by the way, to Alcoa, which indicates that other vertical industries like the mining industry are interested in this industry. Arrow just invested in another company that they bought out, Converge and Integra.
Right.
And so there are a lot of venture capitalists and private equity firms that are making deals with e-waste management companies in the 8-digit range, because that shows that they have the foresight and have done the due diligence to believe in this industry.
Correct. So let's talk about then the conference. So you're saying your conference, which is coming up, and what is the dates for your upcoming conference?
Our conference will be held May 25th to the 27th. The 25th, we have some pre-conference workshops. The core of the conference itself is on the 26th and the 27th. So you can meet with electronic recyclers. You can meet with people in the industry. You can learn about the industry. We have a lot of private equity firms coming out there to do a lot of due diligence with the people they see on the trade floor, or on the exhibit hall, and that creates a chance for you to do some PR and meet with multiples of potential business partners at the same time. And then we have a wide range of sessions that have been discussed with discussions by industry leaders where they're talking about relevant issues to the e-waste management industry and all its stakeholders.
So you're saying this is not just for recyclers or for manufacturers. You're saying private equity people and money people from Wall Street will also be attending.
Absolutely. The amount of registrations that we've received from private equity firms is outstanding. In fact, they use conferences like ours because they're so rare. It's such a rare opportunity to meet on the ground with the people that do the business, and not just one of them, several of them.
Got it.
So it's a chance to do informal interviews and network with people, and also ask questions that you might never get answers to.
So where is your conference this year?
Great question. It's going to be held in Las Vegas at the JW Marriott Resort and Spa, which is just a couple of miles away from the Strip.
Gotcha. So it's the JW Marriott Resort and Spa, May 25th through 27th. So talk a little bit about how your conference has been so successful the last couple of years. Who are the type of speakers that potential attendees could come and see? Are they from just the United States or from around the world? And is this the sort of the centerpiece of where people can meet other people and hopefully get something done?
That's the whole idea. We're trying to create a platform and a resource for people, not just here in America, but people from all over the world. Last year, we had about over 650 people attend the conference from over 17 countries.
Wow.
That shows the relevance of e-waste all over the world, because it is a global issue how e-waste is handled. Commodities are needed everywhere. I mean, that's why China is always in the forefront of any e-waste discussion, whether it's, how they're adapting to the best standards now, or how things were improperly done in some sections of China in the past. So the truth is there are a lot of other companies that have a stake in how e-waste is managed. I was amazed to find out how lucrative the industry and how prevalent the industry is in Singapore. And, the same situation goes in South America, when you think about it, the cell phones are used everywhere. That's just one type of e-waste that's been generated all over the world. The same goes with computers, medical equipment. I mean, there's so many vertical industries use electronics, obviously, and the amount of e-waste that's been generated is just something people are now starting to take a second look at.
Well, Ishmael, just a few weeks ago, we had one of our guests astound us with a number on what memory from a computer, just the hard drive, what those go for in the open market on the continent of Africa.
Right. So, and that's a good point, because part of recycling is reuse, and the industry includes several thousand companies that buy specific parts, whether it's memory, whether it's the LCD, the motherboards. There's so many companies that have specific niches within the e-waste industry. Some provide logistics to the industry, some provide insurance to the industry. So it becomes a meeting place, our conference that is, becomes a meeting place for people to actually, partner up with some people, with some of these people, and learn what kind of services they have to offer the industry as a whole.
Ishmael, the first conference you had was in L.A., the second one in San Francisco. Why Vegas this time?
Well, we're trying to settle and move out of California. I guess that's one point. And obviously, Las Vegas is a friendly place to meet with people. There are a lot of great conference facilities out there. And when we looked at all the options on the table, it just looked like the very most attractive option. And we've had a lot of feedback from past attendees who said that they would love to meet in Vegas, and we try to make that a reality with this third edition of the conference at Expo.
So you were listening basically to your client base that was.
Oh, we have to. We have to, absolutely. There's an international airport in Vegas, obviously. Vegas, obviously, people just don't want to come to a conference. After the conference will be Memorial Day, and some people want to make a vacation out of it. And it's also a great way for companies to have their employees show gratitude to their employees and have them, have some fun after the conference, I guess.
Yeah,
So
you're right.
Vegas is something that a lot of people just said we would love to do a conference in Vegas, and we try to make it happen.
Your conference is about 4 weeks away, and so the question is, first of all, if people want to go read more about your conference online, it's electronicsrecyclingexpo.com. Can you share how many people already have registered to date, and who some of these OEMs and larger enterprises are that are going to be there?
Yeah, as of this interview, we've had over 500 attendees registered.
Wow.
We expect to have over 88 exhibits sold, which is pretty much the floor plan available to us. At the same time, it's a healthy mix. We have the recyclers, we have logistics companies, we have companies that provide insurance to the industry, software to the industry. There's so many aspects of e-waste management, people that provide the equipment. So we have a healthy mix of companies and associations that represent the different sectors of the industry. And at the same time, the OEMs that are attending include Cisco, Sprint, Nokia, to some that you probably have never heard of, but they have a stake in the industry. We have a lot of electronic recyclers from all over the world that have registered. We have attendees coming from Argentina, China, the UK, Mexico. So it's looking like an exciting event. It's in the making, and God knows what the numbers will be at the time of the event. But I hope that we can reach our personal target, which is to get over 800 attendees at this year's event.
Ismail, how many speakers typically speak at your events?
About 45.
And on what issues? Is everything from compliance to what else? What else is covered?
Compliance. We talk about the state of the industry. We talk about mistakes. We have sessions where we talk about mistakes you can avoid making. For example, when you're buying a shredder or any type of equipment to process e-waste. We talk about the laws. You have to learn about the laws. We talk about what kind of programs are out there that assist manufacturers in diverting e-waste from ending up in landfills. You hit it right on the nail when we said we talk about compliance and certification. We talk about the materials. We talk about so much more. But to see the agenda, just visit the website, electronicsrecyclingexpo.com, and there's a page that says program, and you can look on there for the agenda and the speakers we have.
Ismail, what other, now that you have a magazine that's going to be published 10 or so times a year and the conference, what's the next step for you in the evolution as a green entrepreneur?
Well, I found myself in a position where we're consulting for a lot of the manufacturers on how to adapt e-waste back, the best e-waste management practices. That's becoming more of a bread and butter thing now, and so a lot of opportunities are opening up for me personally and for other stakeholders in this industry. I've talked to people that sell all types of stuff. I mean, there's a company that is providing insurance specifically to this industry. There are people that provide equipment geared towards electronic recyclers and software geared towards electronic recyclers. So entrepreneurs like myself in this industry are doing very well at this time, and I think it's a great thing because we're all coming together to tackle this tsunami of e-waste that we generate as a society. So it's a great thing to be rewarded for doing a good thing at the same time financially.
Got it. That's great. So share a little bit about what's going on. You just came back from the ISRI conference. What did you learn there when you met with different stakeholders, and what did they say the state of the industry looks like?
Well, the ISRI conference is an exciting conference. I mean, it was amazing to see all the equipment out there. But I just felt that that conference speaks to the recycling industry as a whole, which is a great platform and a great thing to do. Electronic recyclers have their specific needs, and they have their specific challenges. And unfortunately, there's really no advocate for that industry right now. And obviously, things are being done to try to make that not last forever. It's an industry that generates a lot of jobs, has its own interests, its own challenges, and it'll be a nice thing to have an electronics recycling association. I think that's something that I'm very interested in, and we talk to a lot of people that are also very interested in doing that. So that's something people should look out for. It's something that represents the interests of the electronic recyclers, the manufacturers, gives them some sort of educational platform to learn about the best recycling practices. So it's not just a guessing game. When they bring business to ERI, they should know that ERI is an e-steward certified company. ERI is compliant with R2. ERI is an ISO certified company. And other companies like Waste Management and Creative Recycling Systems that adapt to these high-level certification standards. It's a commitment to environmental excellence, if you ask me. And they're putting their money where their mouth is versus people that just put a statement on the website.
Well, it's funny you said that. You brought up some great points with regards to highest standards now. And this morning, I know you were on NPR with the Basel Action Network and some others talking about this very critical issue. You want to share a little bit about what NPR was interested in learning and sharing with their listeners with regards to standards and what Basel Action's doing and your role in this?
Yeah, we had a panel of experts discuss the afterlife of electronics on NPR radio earlier this morning, and I was very fortunate to be included in that. And we had Sarah Westervelt from the Basel Action Network and Walter Alcorn from Consumer Electronics Association, and we just discussed issues in the industry, the fact that certification is a great thing. Sarah talked about their standard, the e-steward standard. And Walter talked about what the manufacturers were doing in terms of more sustainable practices and gave some good examples like Best Buy. And we had some callers call in and ask about, how to recycle electronics, and I let them know about resources like Earth 911 and 1-800-recycling.com, and how they can access those resources from their smartphones and their Android devices. And so it was a very interesting discussion, and I really enjoyed it.
Interesting. Well, we're down to the last 2 minutes, Ismail, and one of the reasons a lot of our listeners listen, and we've got listeners around the world. Well, we've got listeners in the UK and Shanghai and literally in South America, all across the world, because we track where our listeners are listening from. So a lot of them are young entrepreneurs that want to learn how to be the next Ismail. And number two, a lot of them want to know they have the same problem there. Should they be coming to your conference and reading your journal to learn how to become part of the solution in their countries? Why don't you share with our listeners a couple of pearls of wisdom on being a green entrepreneur? And then also, should people from Shanghai and the UK and Brazil and India be coming to your conference to learn best practices that they could bring back to their countries?
I think you bring up a good point. In fact, we get a lot of students that come from schools all over the world that are telling us now that they're studying e-waste management. And it's unfortunate there's really no formal outlet to learn e-waste management. So a conference like this is really a tremendous opportunity to learn from the front line and the true stakeholders in the industry what's really going on. And it's to get involved in e-waste management, I'll predict will become more of a career choice once people realize, the opportunities that are in this industry. There are a lot of young entrepreneurs that I've met that, do stuff like buy cell phones back from people and companies and do very well. Some have been able to attract a lot of investment capital to execute their business plans. And a lot of this stuff happens at a conference like this. You have an opportunity to meet with people in the industry. If you're looking for a recycler, it's a great way to assess them and ask them questions and compare them to others at the same time. It's a great use of your time, and I think the networking value and the educational value are very, very important. And a lot of people are seeming to grasp that and take advantage of that.
Well, Ismail, you're, again, just an amazing and wonderful friend and guest. And for all those out there that want to see Ismail's great electronic waste journal, you can look it up right now on your laptop, iPad, or desktop at www.ewastejournal.com. If you want to come to his conference and register, you should go to electronicsrecyclingexpo.com. Electronics, plural, recyclingexpo.com. Ismail Oyekan, you are a sustainability visionary and truly living proof that green is good.
Thank you for having me, John. Thank you, Mike.